Hey everyone, this is Stanley. I want to talk today about a rule that's sometimes confusing, so I want to try and maybe clear it up for us and players and hopefully some refs. We're talking about the plane of the net rule, and it's rule 11I, and also the exception is 11.I.1. Okay, so let's start with the main basic rule first. And the first four words are key in that rule: after striking the ball. Okay, so the ball comes over, let's say it bounces or whatever, you can cross the plane of this net after striking the ball. So here's the thing, you can't cross this plane. This is the main rule. We'll talk about the exception. You cannot cross the plane, anything, paddle, arm, leg, anything. You cannot cross the plane at all unless you hit the ball first. It's that simple. So if a person goes to set up for an Ernie, and the ref's over there, and they set up for an Ernie, and the ball goes to the partner, that's a fault. They've crossed the plane and they didn't strike the ball. And it's pretty easy to call the 4 times that I've called it, because your net is it's a great visual, it's a straight line, which is why refs, we got to stay right behind the net, directly behind it. So I've got this great long visual straight line to help me if I see somebody blatantly cross the plane of the net. Let's say it's a big net post and their foot is behind it. If I don't see the body part cross, then I won't call it. I have to see blatantly a body part cross the plane of the net before I call it. So it's real simple. Again, you can't cross this plane until you hit the ball first. All right, it's that simple. Now there's an exception. The exception to crossing the plane unless you have hit the ball is this: if the ball bounces and has backspin or is wind-aided and goes back over the net, that back over, they changed that in 2020, okay, that's important, goes back over the net, then you're allowed to cross the plane, and that's the exception right there. You haven't hit the ball yet, but you're allowed to cross the plane. Remember, the first rule is you can't cross unless you hit it. Now we're giving you an exception. You can cross the plane to hit the ball, but the ball has to cross back over. And so what can you do? You can go, it says, I think 3 things. Over the net, let's say the ball bounces and goes to the side, you can go around the net, or technically you can go under the net, okay, as long as you don't touch the court or the net system. And some of those nets have like a 4-inch gap at the bottom. But listen, this is important after that. Here's the things you're allowed to do: over, around, and under. And then it says comma, but only after, this is important, that's why I got to read it. Didn't have it memorized. But only after the ball crosses back over the plane of the net to the opponent's side. That's very, very important. So basically it says this: yeah, if the ball bounces and goes back over, you can do this, you can go to the side, you can go underneath. But only after the ball crosses back over the plane to the opponent's side. Okay? Some people think that if the ball bounces and has backspin and is headed towards going over, you can go ahead, well, you can hit it anytime on your side, but you can't cross that plane until the ball crosses the plane. For example, this would be illegal. Let's say the ball comes in, and I saw a person do a chop shot, and I know it's got a lot of backspin. It comes in, it bounces, and it's going back over. If I, use my arm to create balance, and the ball's coming over, and I stick my arm over before that ball has crossed back over, that's a fault. Okay? So for refs, it's real easy. One of 2 ways. If it's not a backspin ball going back over, they got to hit it first before they cross. If it's a backspin ball that's bounced, that ball has to cross the plane of this net before anything, brim of the hat, anything crosses over. The ball, again, but only after the ball crosses back over the plane of the net to the opponent's side. Okay? So I hope that helps. Again, can't cross until you hit the ball, or if it has backspin, it has to go across first, and then you can go over and do whatever you want. I hope that helps. Thanks.